International Trans Day of Visibility. And if you haven't glittered up, there is some glitter that you can find at the welcome table in Barker Room to glitter on up and just let your inner self shine and shimmer and glitter. My name is the Reverend Samaya Oakley, and it is my delight and my honor and deep privilege to serve you as your minister. Whether this is your first time here or whether it's your 100th, we hope that you find a place to belong, to be seen, and to be celebrated. Today, on International Transgender Day of Visibility, we remember that visibility itself is a spiritual practice. The act of honoring one another fully, of making space for each person's true self. And so we gather on the traditional lands of the Niitsitapi people, the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Iahota Nakota First Nations, including the Chiniki, the Bearspaw, and Goodstoney, and the Tsuut'ina Nation. And this land is also homeland to the Métis, Otipsemewak Districts 5 and 6. What's important to remember is that for generations, Two-Spirit people have been honored as keepers of knowledge, mediators, and holders of sacred roles in Indigenous communities. Recognizing their presence reminds us that belonging and identity are gifts to be cherished and protected. One of the many things about land acknowledgements is that I believe they call us to live into relationship, not just with the earth itself or herself, but with one another. What I love about the landscape right now is that I can feel and see the subtle vibrancy returning to the limbs of the trees. Right now, they literally glow with life. The quickening of the earth is visible. It's made manifest at this time of year. And I'm reminded that life is always moving us towards renewing and becoming. And it's like that with our words and our actions and our care. They ripple outward, shaping communities that we build. How we see, honor, and protect each other matters, especially for those whose lives have too often been marginalized or erased. So as we begin, I invite you to bring the stories that you carry, the hopes, the questions, the quiet things on your heart. Today, we gather with a particular awareness of how vital it is to be seen, to be recognized in our full humanity. Together, we will reflect on what it means to create a world where no one has to hide who they are, where belonging is not conditional, and where our shared commitment to one another becomes a source of safety, courage, and care. Come, let us worship together.
Your Euphonia Choir in singing our opening song, Swimming to the Other Side.
We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming Hi. My name is Lilius Cowper, and my pronouns are she and her. I am honored to be your service reader this morning. I'm also a member of the Board of Trustees. I come to Calgary Unitarians because I feel at home here. The place is about what you do in your life, not necessarily what you believe. You have a choice of what you believe, but what you do is important. Trying to be a good person is what is important to me. To light our chalice this morning, I invite Vivica forward to light the candle. Vivica is the daughter of our Director of Religious Education and their partner, Jason. Griffin is her older brother, and I was her mystery pal just recently. Being her mystery pal was great. I love having people her age in my life, and particularly her. She's very fun and very creative. How lucky am I to get to know her? Thank you, Vivica. We light this chalice in honor of the many ways of being human that have existed on this land. We remember and give thanks for two-spirit people whose lives and wisdom remind us that gender diversity is not new but sacred. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called into covenant with one another, to see each person in their full dignity, and to protect one another with courage and love. May this flame guide us in that presence.
Good morning, everyone. It's a little tricky being mom and DRE at the same time. Walk this way, walk that way. My name is Rachel Smith. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at Calgary Unitarians. My pronouns are she and they. I tried really hard to find a glitter or sparkle related joke for y'all today, but they weren't very good, or they didn't make sense. So instead, I have one for you. What is a pirate's favorite subject in school? Art. I have got some slides for us today that I accidentally waited till like the last possible second to let Christopher know. So I'm very lucky that he has managed to sort that out for me. Thank you so much, Christopher. Have you ever heard, or maybe even said, the phrase, well, we're all in the same boat? It's a pretty common one. I have definitely said it. Today, I want us to take a little bit of time to talk about that and maybe even dig into it a bit and consider whether it's universally true and how it lands sometimes, and whether we can maybe think about it in a new way. So if we take a look at these two pictures, if you were about to head out on a big trip across the ocean, which would you rather be in? Would you like the floaty, the very nice summer fun floaty, or the yacht? Feels like a silly question, right? That makes sense. The yacht, it's very sturdy, has everything you need, maybe has room for a first aid kit. The floaty, you got a coconut drink that has room for that, I guess. Now, for the next slide. This is Freddie. Freddie did not have a yacht. She still needed to get across the ocean. Her boat was a swim floaty. It's the kind you wear around your waist. You can sit in it a little bit. It's fun to take down the river. It's flimsy, but it's what she had. But she had to get across the ocean. She's floating along, trying to make the best of it, when she noticed the sky getting dark. We can see the storm clouds kind of starting to sweep in. The wind picked up, the waves started to get choppy, and then she saw a fin, and another fin, and another fin, and the sharks were swimming and getting closer and closer. And I don't know, Freddie looks like maybe she's had better times. And then nearby on the ocean, we've got our next slide. We move one more slide over. There we go. Oh, I see. I have a delay from the back to here. You're like, it's already gone. What are you waiting for? Well, nearby, in his very comfortable yacht, is Steve. He's got comfy seating. He's got a cooler full of lemonade. He's got a radio, satellite dish. He is decked out. He is ready for a trip across the ocean. Steve, he's having a perfect day. See that sun shining there? It's those beautiful clouds. Well, Freddie saw the yacht and paddled over as quickly as she could. And she yells, Steve! Steve, there's a huge storm coming. And sharks! I saw fins. I'm in danger. And Steve looks up from his lemonade. It's not a perfect picture. We have to imagine a little bit. He's looking toward the sun. Squinted at the bright sun and said, storm? What storm? Sun's shining. It's a perfect day. You're just imagining things. No, Freddie insisted. These waves are huge. I am getting soaked. Huh, said Steve, looking at his perfectly dry deck. That's weird. My boat's totally dry. Maybe you're overreacting. It's not such a big deal. And Freddie goes, the sharks, they're right there. Steve didn't even see them. He sighed. Look, if there was a problem, my satellite dish would have picked it up. My radio would have warned me. I've been sailing this ocean for decades, and I've never even seen a single shark. You need to calm down. We're all in the same ocean, right? We're in the same boat. If I'm fine, you're fine. Just relax. And he sat down in his deck chair with his lemonade and left Freddie to face the storm alone. Well, let's talk about this a little bit. Is Steve trying to be a bad person? Is he trying to be mean and ignore Freddie? He's looking. He's got the sun there. It's beautiful. His boat is very sturdy. Everything's fine, right, for him? So Steve isn't lying. From his comfortable boat, it looks great. In his experience and his equipment, everything probably did look fine. The problem wasn't that he was being mean or insensitive. It's that his boat was so comfortable and well equipped that he didn't consider to think that someone else might be having a very different experience. He couldn't feel the waves that were crashing against Freddie. He's so high up in his boat he couldn't see the shark fins. His ocean felt very different to Freddie's. Well, even if Steve wasn't trying to be dismissive of Freddie, what might happen to Freddie? Those sharks, I don't know if they ate breakfast. Could be a little dangerous for her. In our community, in our congregation, some of us are in pretty sturdy boats. Life might be feeling real good. Maybe we have a supportive family, a stable job, good health. But some of us are hanging on to floaties. They might be struggling with anxiety. We might have our family going through a hard time. Or maybe we're being bullied at work or school, or feel left out, or maybe the government has told our doctor that they're not able to provide us with the medical care we need. We're feeling the waves, and we see those sharks coming for us. When someone in a floaty tells us there's a storm, what are some of the ways that we respond that sound like Steve? Anyone want to shout one out? Something you've heard before, going through a hard time? Yeah, you'll get over it. Hang in there, it'll pass. Focus on the positive. Just look at the bright side. Just don't be focusing on the negative stuff. Does that help? No. What could a better response be for Steve to respond to Freddie? How can I help? Here, catch this life preserver. Come on up on my boat. Yeah. I believe you. Even if we can't quite wrap our heads around it, sometimes just believing that someone else is going through something can be really powerful. Tell me more. I'm here with you. So, storms and sharks, they don't really care too much whether we can feel them or if we're afraid of them. They're just out there. It's just the world kind of existing and bumping up against us. They're still real for the person who's just got a floaty. Our faith calls us to do something really hard, to step outside of our comfortable boat and to trust someone else's experience, even when it doesn't match our own, and look for ways to pull them up out of the danger. It's not about fixing the storm. It's about making sure that no one has to face it alone in a flimsy little floaty. We all need each other to get through it together. And so a big shift that I have taken, at least I came up for me during COVID, is we're not all in the same boat. We are all in the same storm. And it's important for us to step outside of our own perspective and make room for other ones. And so to leave you with that, I would now like to invite you to sing the children and youth down, and I will walk them down to our program. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Adrian. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm doing the pledge testimonial this week. I came back to church, it'll be 2 years ago in the summer, after flirting with the church for a while, about 13 years ago, or 15, I don't know. But I came back being in a world where COVID had decimated community in ways that we are still recovering from, to reconnect with old friends, heal old wounds, and forge new friendships. Disillusioned with increasing violence and growing prevalence of fascism in society, I came here to be part of community because we need each other right now. And church community, like the structure, I have missed being in school and the community that school naturally creates, where you naturally, without pressure, form connections, build community, friendships, relationships, without pressure, since I graduated from art school more than 20 years ago. And so I was looking around about what naturally nurtures healthy community that has survived COVID. And church is one of those things. Only I am not the Catholic I was raised to be. I believe in the Catholic values far too much to have continued with the religion of Catholicism. As this church, no, seriously, that's the values I was raised with are why I left the church. That's a whole other discussion. But, you know, we're having glitter at the door we can put on for the Trans Day of Remembrance, right? That's why I am here as opposed to somewhere else, because that is what this church community does. The solace of being in community and reflecting on matters of the heart, of the world, of the spirit, every week through the sermons, finding solace together, searching for purpose and meaning through community, through all the things that we're involved with, whether it's women's or men's group or craft group and craftivism, you know, reaching out into the community in the choir, the Alliance for the Common Good. This building hosts so much, you know, talks on dirt, soil, and community garden, and like beyond the sermons, everything that we are involved in, that we encourage each other to be involved in. The intergenerational conversations, games, community potluck nights, drum circles, like it provides opportunities to turn towards and lean on each other in our weariness with the world, to find refuge and solace and hope in a world that's growing increasingly hostile. We need each other right now, and that is why I came back to the church. I don't always have a lot of money. I totally increased my pledge this year because I received a lot of support this year, so my circumstances are a little different. It's not like I made a huge pledge, but it was a huge, significant increase. So my circumstances are different. I volunteer a lot. I also felt like maybe if I make a pledge, I won't have to feel guilty about not volunteering more. You know, I also came back because this congregation is committed and dedicated to truth and reconciliation and 8th principle training, and I wanted to ground myself in that training more as a footing for how we outreach into the world. And yeah, I'm also teaching a Pasanki making workshop on April 25th. It only has 16 spots. That includes kids. Each kid must sign up individually, but with an adult. So sign up. It's a fundraiser for the church, supplies covered, and then 50-50. It's also part of my pledge to the church as a way of raising funds. So come to that if you can. I think I'm done, probably. Yeah. Samaya's like, please, yes, you're done. Anyways, I love you all, and it's really great to be part of this community. Your circumstances change every single year, and they're different for everyone. The importance is to contribute what you feel you can, you know? Not just in pledging, but in life and part of the community, and I feel like that's where we're all here, so thanks.
That was a great testimonial, Adrian. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we are a self-governed and covenantal community, sustained by the gifts we offer one another. Giving is not simply transactional. It is a spiritual practice, a way of aligning our values and our resources and shaping the kind of world we are called to build together. Today, we are reminded that to commit boldly means not only speaking our values, it means we resource them, ensuring that our ministries of care, justice, and belonging can flourish. This is also the final Sunday to submit your pledge for the coming year, as we prepare to engage together in the spiritual practice of budgeting, discerning how we will live out our commitments in community. I like that spiritual practice of budgeting. This month, our 4 others offering supports, Ni Toi Kis, Family Support Society, which journeys alongside Indigenous families here in Calgary. Their work reflects the truth that communities are strongest when care is shared, when people are seen, supported, and celebrated. In this, their work echoes our own call to be a community where all can belong and thrive. If you would like your gift to support this work, please indicate for others in the memo line of your envelope or e-transfer. If you are visiting with us today, please feel no obligation to give. Your presence is a pleasure and is our gift. As the baskets are passed, you are invited into this blessing of giving. Afterward, you may come forward to light a candle or place a pebble in the communal water, marking a joy or sorrow you carry and joining your story with the life of this community.
It is when we come together to share our joys and our sorrows that we practice what it means to be a community whose hearts remain open. Our stories, both spoken and unspoken, are threads in this tapestry of care that we weave together. Naming what we carry allows us to choose connection over closing off to one another. So let us lift up this morning those whose hearts are light with joy. The bird song at morning, the geese crossing the sky, flying south, yes, south, and moments of shared celebration, like the Blue Jays' 8-7 win over the Oakland Athletics. Just saying. We also celebrate Ronnie Joy today, who over this last week received the 2026 Women of Distinction Award at the CUPE Alberta Convention to a standing ovation. She received the reward for her lifelong commitment to building a more just and compassionate world. We also celebrate the return of people this morning that we haven't seen in a while, and so many new visitors. So if your heart is light with joy this morning, know that I am lighting this candle for you. And we also acknowledge that our hearts are heavy at times. Those carrying worry for loved ones, those walking through grief or loneliness. Reverend Tony Snow's brother died just this last week, and we hold Reverend Tony in our hearts. He has been here many times. We know that there are those who are facing complex family dynamics. We know that there are those among us who are living with chronic illness or the weight of anxiety about work, school, or just plain living in the world today. Let us hold those in care who carry worry for friends, for neighbors, for family who are facing discrimination or injustice. If your heart is heavy this morning, we light this candle for you to let you know you are not alone. And we light a final candle this morning of global concern for those around the world whose gender or gender's expression places them at risk. People whose identities are criminalized, whose access to health care or education is denied, and whose very existence is challenged. May this light go out to them to remind them that they are not alone. May this time of sharing keep our hearts open, compassion flowing out into the world. So this is our time together, our time to sit and be together. After contemplative words, we'll sit together in silence for 2 minutes, when we'll be brought out of silence with our song, May I Be Empty. So take a comfortable seat. Rest your hands loosely in your lap. Allow your eyes to soften, either closed or gently lowered, and begin by noticing your breath. Its natural rhythm, the rise and the fall, that gentle movement that carries life in and out. And as you settle, bring to mind a time, perhaps recently, perhaps long ago, when you felt you could not show a part of yourself, a piece of your heart, your identity, a truth that the world would not accept, or that you felt would be rejected. Notice how it felt to hold that part of yourself, to shrink it, to hide it, to silence it. Notice your body's response. Do you feel tension in your chest? Maybe a tightening of the throat, nauseousness or heaviness in the stomach. Just notice, without judgment, how it feels to have to deny a piece of who you are. And now, if you can, just for a moment, imagine the courage it would take to let that piece breathe freely, to speak its truth, to be recognized and seen. Imagine that courage flowing through your breath, warming your heart, like a small flame that cannot be extinguished, even in the dark. As we move into silence together, invite that hidden piece of your truth to rest in this shared space. Let the stillness hold it, witness it, honor it. When our silence ends, we'll move in together in song by singing May I Be Empty, a song that invites release, acceptance, and the fullness of being held. Breathe in, breathe out. And now, let us prepare to sit together in quiet. We made the announcement last week. This, however, is Matthew's really first debut as our choir director because he's been directing the choir, so we are so thrilled. Thank you, Matthew. And what a day it is, because today we gather to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility. Not because trans and gender diverse lives are new, but actually because they've always been here. And because in every generation, they have had to insist on being seen. Trans Day of Visibility began in 2009 as a response to a painful truth that too often trans lives were only named in death, only remembered in grief. And so this day was actually created as an act of resistance, a declaration, if you like, that trans and gender diverse people are not only surviving, but living, creating, loving, and shaping the world. And yet, even as we celebrate, we must tell the truth about the world we're living in. In recent days, the International Olympic Committee has announced a policy excluding transgender women from competing in women's categories at the Olympic Games. Here in Alberta, our provincial government has invoked the notwithstanding clause to enact laws that restrict gender-affirming care for youth, limit participation in sport, and shape how young people can express their identities in school. These are not abstract debates. They are decisions about who is seen, about who is protected, and who is pushed to the margins. And so today, we tell a longer story, because trans and gender diverse people have always been here. Across cultures and centuries, there have been people who have lived beyond binary understandings of gender, sometimes honored, sometimes feared, sometimes erased. On this land, Two-Spirit people held and continue to hold sacred roles within their communities, reminding us that gender diversity is not new, but deeply rooted and life-giving. There have been times when trans and gender diverse people lived openly, woven into the fabric of their communities. And there have been times when they were forced into hiding, criminalized, pathologized. And still they found one another. In the early 20th century, communities formed quietly through letters, gatherings, and early networks of mutual support where people shared knowledge about identity, survival, and care. In cities, people created chosen families, finding safety in one another when the world offered little protection. By the mid-century, trans and gender diverse people were building more visible forms of community, publishing newsletters, organizing social groups, creating spaces where they could be seen by one another, even if not yet by the wider world. These spaces were often fragile, sometimes hidden, and they were lifelines. In moments of resistance, communities became protection. When people were harassed, excluded, or policed, they stood together not only to protest, but to ensure no one was left alone. And here in Canada, as movements for queer liberation grew, trans and gender diverse people continued this work, forming networks of care, advocating for recognition, and supporting one another in navigating systems that did not see them clearly. Even when not named, they were present, shaping community, holding each other in dignity, and insisting on their right to exist. What history shows us is this: trans and gender diverse people have always created ways to be seen by one another, with one another, for one another. And when the world failed to protect them, they protected each other. through chosen family, through shared knowledge, through gathering, organizing, and refusing to disappear. And so the question before us is not whether or not trans or gender diverse people belong. History has already answered that question for us. The questions before us are these. Will we be a people who ensure trans and gender diverse people are seen? Will we be a people to ensure that trans and gender diverse people are protected? Because beneath every policy, every debate, every fear, there is a deeper truth at the heart of our faith. And so we turn to song now as a reminder, carried in voice and harmony, of the truth that we are called to live for one another as we continue building the beloved community together. We do love our music here, don't we? Here in our congregation and in the wider community, our Unitarian Universalist principles call to us to honor the courage of trans and gender diverse people. To live faithfully as Unitarian Universalists is to recognize that every person possesses inherent worth and dignity, not because of what they achieve, but simply because they are human. This includes the right to live openly in one's true gender, to participate fully in society, and to be safe from harm. One important way we practice seeing and protecting one another is through the language we use, including pronouns. Pronouns like he, she, and they reflect something profound about who a person is. And assuming someone's gender or using the wrong pronouns actually has the effect of making someone feel dismissed, invalidated, or unseen. Using pronouns that someone has named for themselves communicates that their identity is honored and their dignity matters. That's why when we introduce ourselves at the beginning of our services, you'll notice that we all take a moment to introduce ourselves with our pronouns. This simple act is more than a courtesy. It's a practice of normalization, making it safe and expected to share our identities openly. By modeling this, we create a culture where everyone can be recognized fully, without fear or shame. For transgender, non-binary, or gender-diverse people, normalizing pronoun sharing, can reduce stress, deepen their sense of belonging, and foster a sense of safety in a community. It reminds us that by seeing one another clearly and speaking with care, that we show every day our acts of justice, affirmation, and community. Being an ally goes beyond words. It's active, ongoing work. It means listening when trans and gender diverse people share their stories, even when it challenges us. It means speaking up against harmful words or behavior in conversation, at work, or in public settings. It means supporting trans-led organizations and initiatives and educating ourselves and others about gender diversity, history, equity, and confronting misinformation and systems of exclusion. As trans advocate, Victoria Bolschultz reminds us, community is vital because it is how we protect each other, how we care for each other, and how we find belonging in a world that often isn't designed for the transgender, two-spirit, and non-binary community. This is not sentimental. It is a truth that we live into together. Our liberation is connected, and our safety is mutual. Committing boldly for one another's dignity and humanity can take many forms here in Calgary and on Treaty 7 territory. It means advocating for safe and affirming spaces in our congregation, schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods. Supporting 2S LGBTQIA+ youth programs. Pushing for inclusive school policies or creating workplaces where trans and gender diverse people are respected and valued. And I have to tell you, at a time when Alberta's government has used the notwithstanding clause to restrict gender-affirming care and youth participation in sport, allyship means speaking up in community dialogues, writing to school trustees, and supporting organizations that provide gender-affirming services. It means educating ourselves and others, confronting assumptions and biases, and amplifying voices too often ignored. And this commitment is powerfully reflected in the work that we do through the Our Whole Lives program. How many people know about the Our Whole Lives program? This is a program that was developed by the Unitarian Universalist Association in conjunction with the United Church of Christ, and it teaches children, youth, and adults in 7 different age brackets throughout life, that's why they call it Our Whole Lives, to understand and respect sexual and gender diversity, to build relationships rooted in consent, care, mutual respect, and to support one another, to support one another's growth and flourishing. And this fall, we will be launching an Our Whole Lives programming at both the kindergarten grade 1 and adult level programs. I know. Rachel and Peter Campbell are going to be taking the adult training in August, and we are delighted that they are doing so. And watch for a big splash that we are going to be announcing to the city of Calgary that we are proud to do this work. Through our whole lives, we are not only sharing knowledge, we are embodying our Unitarian Universalist values in real, everyday ways, putting our principles of dignity, justice, and interdependence into practice. To live this commitment fully, we move beyond awareness into action. To commit boldly is more than words or private support. It is creating spaces, relationships, and practices where trans and gender diverse people are visible, celebrated, and protected. Belonging is not a privilege for the few, my dear ones. It is a right for us all. Our faith calls us to be a model of courage, of care, and welcome. Let us hold this truth together. We are responsible for the world that we shape and for the communities that we build. Let it move through us, in our hearts, in our works, in our actions, as we join together in shared intention and care. Let this be a community of courage, of connection, a living expression of our commitment to see, honor, and protect one another. Amen. Namaste. May it ever be so.
Please join us in our closing song, Circle of Song. The young and the
One of the things that's really interesting about church is we never know whether to clap or when to make noise or any of that. Just do what you want, right? Sometimes the Spirit is just what it is, and that's what we need to respond to. My dear ones, go with courage. See one another. Celebrate one another. Protect one another. Let your love challenge injustice. Your care confront fear. And your presence widen the circle of belonging. And may your actions ripple outward, shaping a world where all are free, all are honored, and all are safe.
As we extinguish this flame, we carry its light within us, the light of covenant and care, of dignity and justice, of courage and protection for all. Though the chalice is dark, its fire lives in our actions, in the communities we build, and in the love we share. Let us go forth as Unitarian Universalists, boldly seeing, celebrating, and protecting one another, and shaping the world where all may thrive. As Reverend Samaya extinguishes our chalice, we invite you to take a spark and place it on your heart, holding this light until we gather again. Thank you for coming. We know that there are many other ways you could be spending your Sunday morning, and you choose to spend it with us. What an honor. Next Sunday on Easter, we will reflect on resurrection as a call to new life together. We'll explore how hope, compassion, and love guide us through difficult times, and how our Unitarian Universalist principles call us to roll away the stones of fear and separation in our communities. For those joining online, please follow the instructions of our AV team, Christopher and Marcia, to join with others in a Google Meet room. Before you all disappear, though, those of us here in Panabaker want to say hi, and that we're so glad you joined us this morning online. Let us now turn and oh, sorry. We already did that unprompted. For those of us here in Panabaker, you're invited to coffee and conversation in Wickenden right after the service. As the postlude begins, you're invited to follow Reverend Samaya out the doors to Wickenden for coffee or conversation, or simply stay and be, soaking in the beautiful music that Matthew has prepared for us.